welcome to Getting Your Film Scene. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for reading that. That's just the program. It's Getting Your Film Seen, basically. I'm going to have all the panelists introduce themselves and tell them a little bit about themselves, and then we're going to, basically open up some questions too from you guys. But we're going to ask a few questions about different avenues of getting your film seen in this day and age, where now we not only have, traditional 3,000 screen release in the theater, but we also have pay-per-view on TV, we have overseas sales, we have the AFM film markets where you get stuff, sold at the marketplace for video on demand. We have the internet where you can put your short or your feature up online, have it seen that way. So there's a lot of different places to get your film seen now because of the advent of different technologies and stuff. So I'll start here to my right. Robin, go ahead.
Thinking, why do you need us? You've got that covered.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go have a
Just
cup of coffee.
not-
They're going to another panel.
He knows
All right.
everything.
So,
Yeah.
hi there. I'm a below-the-line agent, which, if you don't know what that is I don't represent actors. It's really just the technical people. So it would be the director of photography, the editors, production designers. It's a very specific field, and I've been doing that for probably 15 years. Before that, I was a producer. I've been a screenwriter. Still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. That's who I am.
Hi, I'm Barbara Moulter-Welland. I'm a writer and producer in nonfiction, and I kind of ping-pong back and forth between documentary and reality television. And it's sort of an interesting story of how those two have kind of come together, go apart, come together. It's a lot easier to make a living, unfortunately, in reality than it is in documentary. That's a lot of that story.
I'm Steve Arengaran, and I've been working on the dark side for a few years for studios, developing and making TV programs for Disney Channel for the last 10 years, and then with various production and development companies before that.
So we have a lot of varied experience here, a lot of varied talents, different areas of the business. Basically, there's TV side, there's nonfiction reality side, below the line agent side, as well as being a producer too. How many of you guys out there have a completed film, short or feature, basically? And how many of you have them? Are they documentary? How many documentary filmmakers out here? Okay, good, good.
Yeah.
That's a few for Barbara. Good. And how many people out there have, for their short or their feature, gone the technology route and tried to set up the website, put up on the trailer up online, and cast and crew list and all that type of information? Okay. The others, you have to get your website set up for your film. So it's a good avenue for basically not just getting it out there, getting it seen, but also just for having it potentially looked at by others, because one of the biggest things is, again, you heard a bit on the earlier panel about sort of not able to submit your work to different agents or managers or producers because it's basically they can't take a look at it, they're not allowed to take unsolicited material. The great thing about the advent of the internet is if you want to send out your trailer to people instead of having to make 100 DVDs or 1,000 DVDs or your short film, you can put the trailer up online, put clips up online, and just send out the URL to all those different agents, managers, producers, whoever you want to take a look at it. And that way they just have to click on it and take a look at it that way. You can upload it to YouTube and have it seen that way also. Just a great avenue to have it basically be looked at without you having it sent back to you as a DVD with an unopened, unsolicited, we can't take this in our mailroom, basically stamp on the package. So we don't exactly know what you guys want to know.
Yeah.
So we sort of want to hear from you guys of what you're thinking about. Like, you guys, again, the big picture, obviously, like you want the 3,000 screen theatrical release for your film. It's not going to happen. Just doesn't happen. Really, it doesn't happen. So it's more about the other avenues of getting your film seen, getting your work seen. I want to compliment you all for being here at the Film Festival, because again, Film Festivals is one of the greatest places to have your film seen with a real audience. And real audience, I mean, people from the local area who are there to see the films, film lovers, film people who are working on other people's films who happen to come up for their friends' films, and your short or your feature is happen to be showing and they see it too. And so it's a great place to network, to meet people. So just the fact that you guys are here is a great first step to getting sort of your film seen, your work seen, that even if you don't have a film here, but you want to come up to the festival because it's near LA or you're a local, it's a great place to meet the different people, to network and sort of see about the festival. What do they program? What do they have in the festival? Who else shows up? Who attends? Who's on the jury? And just getting to know that world a bit too, to have your stuff seen by the right people, basically. in the film festival world, there's different, rankings of film festivals. People know of Sundance, people know of Toronto, people know the major film festivals. And then there's a lot of smaller film festivals, obviously, for, your hometown of Cleveland or wherever it may be, there's thousands of film festivals out there in the world every single day. So part of that is knowing which ones to submit to, which ones you want to get your film into, which ones are worth the admission price. That's all the area we can touch on too for film festival world.
Unless you have some, I'd just love to hear what kind
Yeah.
of help you need or what kind of questions you have.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If the documentary people want to tell us, what their films are about, and the same with the feature people, it'd be nice to.
Well, actually, okay. So my name is Atsushi Ogata, and I made a film called Cast Me If You Can. It's a feature that played yesterday, so you have to travel back in time in order to see it. But it's actually has theatrical release in Japan. It's going to be released in 8 cinemas nationwide, October 23rd, and it has good English subtitles, and it's been shown a number of festivals in California, and it'll be shown in India, and it opened at the Shanghai International Film Festival. And I'm trying to see how to get U.S. distribution. It doesn't have to be 3,000 cinemas. It can be like 2 cinemas or whatever. But it's a romantic comedy. Although it works in English, just the fact that it's with Japanese cast and shot in Japan with subtitles, it makes it harder.
Yeah.
But if you just had any kind of specific suggestions as to where to, I could pursue with, getting distribution, theatrical release. That's basically my question.
Sadly, Americans have a checkered relationship with foreign films or subtitled films. So it's still, even though I saw your film, it's wonderful,
Oh, thank you.
very
Thank you
mainstream.
very much. Yeah.
You've done a really good job. But because it is in Japanese, it's going to be a specialty film.
Right.
And so I'm sure we'll be talking about knowing who you're pitching to and who distributes that type of film and who's in that business. Would be the first recommendation, doing the research. The best thing you can do is earn $20 million in Japan. And then as soon as you say to someone, you just earned $20 million in Japan, they go,
Right.
oh, I want a piece of that. That's not a problem. You have no control over that, of
Right,
course.
right, sure.
But there are specialty people who do this and do this really well, and finding out, what are the films like yours that have done well and who distributed them. It's a good place to start.
And also a lot of film festivals too, LA and other places have sort of genre film festivals for, Asian themed
Right,
films,
right.
for
Yeah.
gay themed films, for, African American themed films. So look in those and research those film festivals too, because not only are the people attending the audience just to watch the films, that basically that, appealing and they like that type of film, but there's agents or managers or producers reps or production companies that are going looking for product, looking to buy and distribute films of that area, of that ilk, basically, because that's their specialty. So it's
Well,
another avenue.
and a more direct route, I think, is there are specifically film reps. There are people who their main job is to basically say, yeah, I really like your film, I believe in your film, I'm aware of these markets, basically, and I will rep it. You pay these people, they don't work for free. I don't know, I can't remember if I think they're all different. You negotiate it, basically, whether it's a fee or if it's a flat. But a friend of mine is doing it right now, and he's got offers. So that may be something to look into.
I think another thing is don't try and reinvent the wheel. Find shows that have done this successfully before and figure out how they did that. Because it's, especially with the economy right now, no one's in risk-taking mode. So if you can say this has been done before, people have earned money at this before, and go to the people who have earned money at that before, it's less of a risk for them to take that on, and the door will be, the door will more likely be open
Right.
if you do
That's
that.
sort of out of the box, but maybe try to, I know there are a lot of Japanese schools for Americans of Japanese descent who are living here, and other Japanese cultural, there's a Japanese museum downtown in LA. Maybe to arrange for some screenings there.
That's a great idea.
Just to get people to see it, and maybe, then also there's some place for you to invite someone to come,
Absolutely right.
In the business. And, maybe that'd be kind of an interesting way to
LA
get the
has-
word out. LA has a big Japanese population.
And a really great cultural center
It's
too.
beautiful, yeah.
And then the URL you're sending out to these distributors
Yeah.
are, this is, again, someone else has already seen and approved this,
Right.
so it's a little less risky. And you go, it's screening at this time, please come.
Yeah.
And you know
Might be
what,
an
maybe they send their
interesting,
assistant, maybe, or, you know.
Yeah,
you
I
never know.
mean, back in the day when I was at Feature Film Acquisitions at Warner Brothers, we used to get postcards in every single day. My film was screening here, my film was screening here, Harmony Gold, or some screening room in LA. Now, with email, with URLs, you can just send it out as an email. You don't have to spend the money on the postcards anymore. You can
Yeah,
do that.
that's true.
You just send out the email to everybody. It's screening here, it's screening there, it's screening this festival, and invite them to come that way and see if they,
Yeah,
see if they
but
can
talk
show
to
up that
the,
way.
Asia House, I think it is in New York, or, some of those places where there's a cultural affiliation.
Well, it's actually showing in New York, East Coast premiere next Saturday with the
Where?
Japan Society in conjunction.
Oh, the
with
Japan Society,
Great.
perfect, so you're
yeah,
doing it.
in conjunction with the Friars Club Comedy
Right.
Festival.
Oh, so
it's
you're
actually-
doing it, you're
Perfect.
you're doing
Right.
it, yeah.
So is there
Yeah,
an article
you're
in
doing
the
great.
New York Times about this screening? Is there some? What I'm saying is,
Yeah, yeah.
the more you can send someone
Sure.
to say,
Yeah.
people have seen this and like it already,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's great. Now, that is an opportunity. You don't miss these opportunities. They're so few and far between.
Mhm.
Who are the distributors of this type of movie in New York City? And each of them needs to get an email or a phone call or both, or however you want to work that. Because it's, you have a place, it's showing, it's an event.
Mhm.
And the more you can make it an event, the better off you are too.
Right.
And I mean, a lot of it too to think about too, just to sort of as a broader spectrum is, you guys are all filmmakers, creators, writers, directors, very creative people. But again, it's when this comes to the stage of getting your film seen, you have to sort of become the business person. You have to take off the creative cap and be more the business person cap of saying, what are the best avenues to go to? What are the best places to get my film seen? Is it a festival? Is it a film rep? Is it a film society? Just make sure all that stuff is in, you got to put on that business
Yeah.
thinking cap ahead, when you're in that stage of getting it seen.